All right, my screencast is on. Is my microphone like cracking up or just fine? I think I need to like screencast today. We're only 13. What is going on? Did people forget it's an early day today? Okay, is my audio cracking up or it's fine? It's the same. You're good. Thank you. All right, thank you. Okay, hi everybody. Well, it's 10:11. I want to honor your time and your effort to log in on time. So we're going to get started so I can help you with most of the work today. Yes? Okay, so let's go to number one. First, I want to teach you some shortcuts. Uh-huh. Okay, actually for numbers 1, 3, and 5, yep, there should be like the same answer. So if the function looks like y is equal to ax squared, so in other words, if it looks like y is equal to ax squared, the vertex is always at the center, which is 0, 0. Yep. Why? Because there is no value of b. Remember, the b is the value that comes with x, but there's no b over here, right? There's no bx. So if this is 0, then 0 divided by anything will just be 0. Yes, so that's a very useful shortcut. So that means for all of for all of yeah for all of numbers 1, 3, and 5. Let me admit some of our friends over here. Yes. Go ahead and write that down in your answers while I admit some of our friends over here. Okay. So for numbers 1, 3, and 5, our vertex would be 0, 0. Okay, so can you tell me in the chat pod when this happens again? How must the function look like for this to be true? Is it a monomial, a binomial, or a trinomial? Can you tell me in the chat pod? When is the vertex 0, 0? What does this look like? Is it a monomial, a binomial, or a trinomial? I want you to type that into the chat pod. Juliet said binomial. Any other answers? Yes. Binomial means there's two groups, something like ax squared plus bx. That's a binomial. Yep, so when is the vertex 0, 0? Look, it only has like one stuff. Like ax squared, boom, that's it. No more extra plus or minus. So what do you call something that only has one group? Is it a monomial? Is it a binomial? Bi means two. Tri means trinomial. So, yep. What do numbers 1, 3, and 5 have in common? I know you got it. Type it in the chat pod, you guys. I keep asking the same questions because I don't know yes, if you're getting it or not. So the sooner you type it in the chat pod, the sooner we can move on. Yes. Because I don't know if, uh-huh. Thank you to those who have been consistently helping me in the chat pod. Yes, I am not always looking for the right answers. Um, okay. Yeah, I'd rather that you guys write what you know. So so I can tell whether I have to say it again or not. All right, so three of you said binomial. So if you look at this one, a binomial is something like ax squared plus bx because it has two. That's a binomial. Okay? If it's ax squared, it's just one, no plus or minus. That's a monomial. Uh-huh. If it's ax squared plus bx plus c, that's 3. 1, 2, 3. That's a trinomial. Yeah? Okay, so I mentioned earlier if the function looks like ax squared, then the vertex is always at the center, 0, 0. Because the value of a only makes your graph vertically stretch or shrink, right? It doesn't have any vertical translation or anything. So, what do numbers 1, 3, and 5 have in common? Why why is their vertex 0, 0? Can you tell me what the correct answer now is? Is it because it's a binomial, it's a monomial, or it's a trinomial? Type that in the chat pod. And the more students who would type that in the chat pod, like the better, so we would know if we're getting it or not. Yes, that's a very useful shortcut. You don't have like to think so hard about it. If you see something like this, oh, I know that. The vertex has to be always 0, 0. But I just want you to verify, I want you to confirm that you understood that by typing what kind of polynomial is ax squared. Is it a bi, is it a mono, or is it a tri? In the chat pod, please, while we admit some of our friends. Okay, go eat breakfast, honey. It will tummy hurt. I'm getting a snack. It's a binomial. It's a monomial according to Julia. It's a monomial according to Cicely. It's a monomial according to George. Okay, do you guys agree? If you agree, type it in the chat pod. Okay, so if you said monomial, it's correct because see, it only has one group, right? Monomial, very good, Enrique. It only has one group. Yes? Okay, so you should write that down in your notes, you guys. It will make your life easier if you know that fact. So if the if the function is a monomial that just looks like ax squared, you don't even have to make any calculation. You just have to write the vertex, which is 0, 0. Yep. Okay. Now let's take a look at another shortcut. So we've done the case for a monomial, right? Now let's do it for a binomial. Okay, so there are two kinds of binomial here, number 2 and number 4, right? Okay, so for number 2, yeah, number 2 right here. So it looks like y is equal to ax squared plus c, right? That's a c because it doesn't have an x, right? It's a constant. So remember, c is your vertical translation up or down. Up or down, right? If it's positive, it goes up. If it's negative, it goes down. So the vertex for a function that looks like this is always 0, comma c. 0, comma c. So what are you going to answer for number 2? The x value is always 0 and the y value is always the value of c. So can you tell me what you're going to answer for number 2? What will be your answer for number 2? The x value is always 0, and then what is the y value? What is the y value? Look at your function. 2. Very good, Cicely. That's awesome. 2. Perfect. So, yeah. So every time you see a, a quadratic function that only has 2 terms and you have a constant, yes, that's going to be the y value of your vertex. The x value remains 0. Cool. Well, why? That's a good question because this is ax squared plus bx. You don't have any bx, right? So there's no value for b, it's 0. So when you plug in 0 again here, 0 divided by anything will be 0. So that makes the value of x 0. So in other words, yeah, as if the function has no b, your y or your x number is always 0. Okay, so you might want to write this down on your notebook again. That's a very useful shortcut. Okay, now let's go to number 4. Excuse me. For number 4 and 6, though, they already have a value of b, right? Yeah. So for number 4, the value of b is -5. Make sense? But and then for number 6, the value of b here is 1x, so it's 1. b is equal to 1. Yeah, so we cannot answer those easily anymore. In the same way as we did one, two, three, and five. So we need to do some calculations for four and six. Okay, if you just joined us right now, if you could please take a look at these two and maybe take a quick snapshot. Yes, these are shortcuts on how to find the vertices of a monomial quadratic function and a binomial ax squared plus c. Okay, because I'm going to be erasing them already. And the next part that I'm going to teach you is how to find the vertex when it's a trinomial with a b value. Okay, so trinomial is something like this, ax squared plus bx plus c. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We did start at around 5 minutes after Zoom time. Yes, I wanted to respect the time of those who try to be here on time. Uh-huh. Okay, so I'm gonna erase this one. I did think of you though. I am taking a screencast right now because there were only like 13 of us when we started. Okay. All right. So for number 4, we have y is equal to x squared minus bx or minus 5x. Yes. Okay. So in the chat pod, can you tell me what is the value of your b and what is the value of your a? Okay, don't think twice. Just type the first thing that comes to your mind. Yep. What is the value of B? Oh, okay, hang on. I have to like leave both chat open because I don't see it in the other one if you DM me. 1 and negative 5. That's very good, Juliet. Yep. So where can you find them? The value of A here is 1 and your B value is negative 5. I asked that because that's what you need to find the axis, which is necessary to find the vertex, right? Okay, so let's find the axis. X is equal to, I'm putting the axis over here, opposite of B. So what is the opposite of 0 and negative 5x, Justin? Okay, so don't put 0 though, it's 1. So 1x squared. So you're going to put 1, negative 5. Awesome, honey. Okay, so what is the opposite of your B when you plug it in into the formula? Opposite of B. What's opposite of B? You said B was negative 5. So what's the opposite? 5. Perfect. Over 2 times your A value is 1. So what is 5 divided by 2? 5 divided by 2. What's 5 divided by 2? Anybody? Okay, 2.5. Perfect. All right. So we know that our X number is 2.5. If you're doing a multiple choice thing like this, well, you don't have to think twice. Just look for something that has an X value of 2.5, right? Yeah, it's right there. You see that? Okay, but how did they get the negative 6.25? So we're gonna do that. Okay, so to get the 6.25, you have to plug it in, right? Okay, so it's y equals, so I'm doing number 4, it's x squared, but we know our x is 2.5. So 2.5 squared minus 5x, 5x, so 5, and then our x is 2.5. There you go. Okay, so y is equal to, what is 2.5 times 2.5? What is 2.5 times 2.5? Yeah, just 2.5 squared. How much is it? You gonna help me up? What is it? That's not 5, honey. It's not 2.5 times 2. That's different. It's 2.5 times 2.5 because it's 2.5 squared. How much is it? How much is it? Anybody? Come on, if you know it, don't wait too long. Yep, 6.25. Okay. All right. Now, what is 5 times 2.5? Honey, mommy is working. All right. So, what is 5 times 2.5? What's 5 times 2.5? I'm trying to ignore my daughter because, yeah, she has to learn the skill of knowing when to interrupt somebody and when not to. What's 5 times 2.5, you guys? Come on, let's go. What's 5 times 2.5? 12.5. Thank you, George. Okay, now subtract these two. What do you get? Subtract them. What do you get? 625 minus 12.5. Negative 6.25. That's great. All right, negative 6.25. That's perfect. Okay, so that's how we get the vertex right there. For number 4, right? Okay, already. So 2.5 and then negative 6.25. Okay, now I only have one left for you to do. You have to do that on your own. You have to do number 6. Yes? How are you going to do number 6? Well, it has a b value. And remember what I told you earlier, if it has a b value, you have to use this method. Yep, opposite of b over 2a. Your b value here is 1, right? Okay, so you have to try number 6. It's 10:27. You should be done with it by 10:30. Submit your answers and then we're gonna look at another one together. Okay, so do number 6 and let me know if you pass the Schoology thing or not. Okay? Alright, 10:30. I'll be right back. I'll just quickly check my kiddo in the living room. Maybe she got logged out of Zoom or something. Okay. Alright, do number 6.